Welcome everybody. We've got a few more people joining, so we're going to let our numbers settle down before we get started today. Go ahead and get settled in. We have an awesome 2 hours ahead of us with our fabulous teacher trainer, Sean Raser. We are thrilled he could join us for this. And it looks like we still have a few people connecting to audio. We've got a few people joining us yet, so we're going to keep letting people in, let you get settled in. And while we are waiting, I will also mention, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Lori and I'm a PD specialist here at CodeHS. I've been here a little over 2 years now, and I absolutely love the platform. I taught with CodeHS from 2014 to 2019 in my own classrooms. And so I couldn't be more thrilled to be here with all of you to talk CodeHS today and hear what Sean's going to be telling us about CodeHS as well. I recognize a ton of names on this workshop today. So welcome everybody. And while you're getting settled in, we'll see an introduction slide later, but I'll go ahead and just say it now. If you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself in chat, we would love to know where you are coming to us from. Oh, I don't think we've added any of the links yet. We'll go ahead and grab those for you and throw those into chat. But if you'd like to tell us who you are, where you're coming from, where you're joining us from, what you teach, anything like that, anything you'd like to share, something fun that you've done during your first part of your summer break, that's fine too. We love to take some time to get to know everybody. Welcome, Arizona. Welcome, Arizona. I'm just complaining that it's hot here. I'm based in South Dakota and it's abnormally hot for us. I think we're going to be 105 again tomorrow. And this South Dakota girl is just going to melt. So I don't know how you do it, Arizona. Oof. Good morning. Good morning to LA, Ontario, Maryland. Very nice, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Oklahoma. Oh, we've got a couple teachers from Arizona. Cool. Maryland. It's a dry heat. You know, I wish it was dry heat in Arizona for sure. And the only times I've ever been to Arizona has been in July, both times. And both times I thought, I don't understand the dry heat thing. I'm still melting. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us from India. Thrilled to see you back with us again. Welcome, everybody. All right, we're going to go ahead, and if you want to keep tossing those links into chat, or your info into chat, that would be great. And let's go ahead and go to the next slide and get started with our workshop today. All right, so here is that link for the slides. I think Lindsay went ahead and tossed that into chat, but Lindsay, if you could throw that into chat one more time for us, that would be great. So if you want to access the slides during the workshop, you can browse out to codehs.com/deepdive-slides, or if it's easier, go ahead and scan that QR code and you can watch that on your mobile device as well. We're going to leave this screen up, or this slide up, for just a moment. And while I'm giving you a chance to get to those slides, I will also introduce the rest of the CodeHS team who are on this call with us today. So we also have MR. MR is a PD specialist. She's waving at you right now, and she'll be manning the question parking lot and watching for questions and helping out on the back end. And we also have Lindsay with us, who is also a PD specialist. Lindsay just waved too. Lindsay is going to be tossing links into chat. So definitely watch for those links to come in. She's super fast, way faster than I am. So thank you for your help with that. And let's go ahead, Sean, and head to the next slide. All right, so question parking lot. We have a link here for the question parking lot. Because we have so many people in this workshop and chat can get a little bit clogged with comments and other things, maybe our chats are in there. We don't want to miss any questions. So if you've got some questions, please go ahead and toss those into the question parking lot. That way, somebody from our team can definitely get you an answer and we don't miss any of that. So go ahead and pull up that question parking lot. You can also scan the QR code to get to that as well. You'll also find on the top of that question parking lot several links for today's workshop. So in case you lose the slide link or maybe the link to join the course today, you can always access it from there too. But go ahead and make sure you toss your questions into the question parking lot for us. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide, Sean. All right, so we already started this, but we'd love to know where teachers are joining us from. And we want to feel like we are getting to know you as well. So go ahead and toss your intros into chat if you'd like. You can tell us your name if you like. What subject do you teach? What courses do you teach? Have you used CodeHS before? I think a lot of you have, but we might have a few new teachers here as well. And do you have experience teaching computer science? All right. I'm going to just take another peek at chat. Excellent. Welcome, Sharon. Welcome, Nelson. Wonderful. We've got teachers joining us from all over the place. Okay, cool. I missed this one. We have a teacher joining us from the south of France right now. Welcome. We are very glad you could join us. Awesome. Texas, unusually cool, only 87 today. I will be wishing for unusually cool tomorrow, so awesome. All right, go ahead and keep tossing those into chat if you'd like, and go ahead and have conversations in chat as well. This is your time to also get to know the teachers that you're with. Great time to grow your networks. All right, Sean, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so today's agenda, we've got a lot of stuff we want to do today. We've got some fun activities for you to try today too. So here's our agenda for our short 2-hour workshop today. We are going through our welcome, our virtual check-in right now. We're going to have you enroll in our course section soon. And once we are done with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sean, where he's going to take us through the CodeHS courses and pathways, show you what's out there and what's available for you and your students. And he's going to talk also about some CodeHS tools. Excuse me. So he's going to take a look at some of the communication and feedback tools, some access controls, maybe some grading tools as well, and curricular resources too. Then we're going to get into some course customization, where you get to learn about how you can actually customize the course. And we'll also go into Sandbox and some real-time collaboration. And we've set up some really fun challenges for you in that part of our workshop today. And throughout this, we'll definitely talk about some of the things that are available for pro teachers, teachers on the pro plan, and things that are available to teachers who might be teaching on the free plan. And just as a little side note, the whole time I was in the classroom, I actually was never able to get the pro plan. I actually taught on the free plan for all of those years, so 2014 to 2019. So definitely doable for that. All right, let's go ahead and head to that next slide, Sean. All right. If you do not have an account yet, you can go ahead and head out to codehs.com/signup to create your educator account. Completely free. Definitely free to create the account, actually to do access any of the courses, set up your courses and sections, all of that. It's all free. I'll give you just a second there. I see some folks in chat who've also taught, looks like we've got some Project Lead the Ways. We've got some code.org folks, and there's definitely some things that you might see today that will show you how you can actually integrate some of that material into your CodeHS course as well. Okay, Sean, let's hit that next slide. All right, so once you have created an account or just signed into your existing teacher account, if you could browse out to the link you see on the screen, Lindsay has also tossed that into chat, that would be great. That link is going to help you enroll in the workshop demo section for today, or the workshop section for today. So we are going to make sure that all of the resources that you use today are included in that workshop section. So you will be able to access the slides, the survey. I think I have Padlet in there, probably other stuff. I'm trying to remember everything that we put in there, Sean. And there's some exercises too. So if you just want to play with JavaScript, you've got some Carol exercises and challenges in there too. So you will want to browse out to codehs.com/go/797A9 to enroll in that section. And we'll keep an eye on that on the back end. If you have any trouble at all, either creating an account or enrolling into this workshop section, go ahead and toss a message into the question parking lot so a member of our team can help you get in there. Sharon mentioned this is your first year using CodeHS. Used it for Python. Cool. I absolutely loved, that's where I got introduced to Python, was through CodeHS. And that CodeHS is the reason I know Python. So cool. I'm thrilled to hear that, Sharon. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide, Sean. One more link. I think just one more link, might be more, who knows? So this one's really important. So we definitely want to make sure that you get credit for attending this workshop today. So once you've signed into CodeHS, you've created an account, we need you now to go out to this link, codehs.com/deepdive-attend. This is going to check you into the workshop for today. And better yet, it's going to let me send you a certificate of attendance for 2 hours for attending this workshop. You can expect to see that a little bit later this afternoon. Yeah, it'll come to you a little bit later this afternoon, maybe closer to evening time. And it will come from the hello@codehs.com email address. So keep an eye out for that one. If you don't see it by tomorrow morning, send an email to me and I'll make sure you get that. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, this means that Lori takes a breath. I talk very fast to try to give our teacher trainers as much time as possible. So let me just say again, I'm going to give them one more introduction because I didn't do a very good job on that first slide, Sean. So we do have our fabulous computer science teacher, programming teacher, CodeHS educator, and teacher trainer with us today, Sean Raser. And he is going to be taking us through a deep dive look into CodeHS. So, Sean, turning it over to you, my friend.
All right. Thank you so much, Lori. I appreciate it. And thank you all for being here, for taking time out of your summer to join us for this hopefully exciting session. And hopefully you learn something new and get some valuable information out of this. Just a little bit about myself. So I've been using CodeHS for, I think, about 6 years now. I've been teaching computer science for 9 years, or going into my 9th year. And I teach AP computer science principles. And, I've kind of bounced around some different curriculums when I first started. And then I came across CodeHS during my 3rd year teaching CS, and just absolutely loved everything that I found. My students have loved it, and I've had a great experience with it so far, and, continue to use it now. So it's definitely something I'm very passionate about, and hopefully you guys see the value in it too. And if there's any questions that you have that we don't cover in this presentation, we will have time for questions at the end, and please don't hesitate to ask anything that you can think of. So the CodeHS has just a huge catalog of courses. I mentioned I teach AP Computer Science principles, but there are tons of courses in there that can fit really any age group or kind of any specific subject or niche that you're looking for. So there's a link here to go to the course catalog. But when you go to it, you can see here that you've got this menu that you can sort and kind of search for just the right class that's fitting your needs. I know in the chat I saw some people had just used CodeHS for Hour of Code before. You can find Hour of Code exercises here, which are a great way to get new people excited about programming. You can search by languages. I know we had a couple Python teachers. If you want to see just the Python courses that are available in here, you can check out those. You can also, for high school teachers looking for AP resources, you can search here. One thing that I like that I always come back and check out is the new courses. CodeHS has been great about constantly adding and updating and coming out with new material to really stay current and have new options for different students. So if you sort by new, you can see all of the new courses that are out here. You can see a Roblox class. In fact, I haven't seen that one before. But some of these are full year-long classes that you can take. Some of these are semester. You can see here when you look at the time frame, it gives you an idea of how long it'll take to complete that particular course or unit. So there's a lot of different, obviously you've got lots of different courses, and it can be a little overwhelming sometimes just seeing just the pure volume of them. So when you're deciding which course or which one that you want to consider for your class, some of the things that you want to keep in mind are first of all, what level are your students at? Is this an introductory course? Do you have students that already have some prior programming experience? There's, depending on which level they're at, that'll help you narrow down which courses are available. You've got, obviously CodeHS has a big focus on programming, but if you can see that there's lots of interdisciplinary courses as well. There's courses that tie in with art and with science and with math. So even if you're not teaching a pure programming class, but you want to integrate some programming into one of your other subjects, you've got options for that as well. You've got other topics, cybersecurity, web design, lots of different kind of resources or courses to fit your needs. And again, the experience level of the students is also going to have a big impact on which course you pick. If you have more advanced students, or if it's a course that's in a series and they've already taken one or two previous courses, then obviously you'll want something that's a little more appropriate to that skill level. But the nice thing is that it's a giant catalog of courses, and it's constantly expanding. So I've always been able to find what I'm looking for in there. Some other things that you want to think about. I mentioned the timing of it. When you look at the courses, again, some of these are year-long, some of them are quarters, some of them are units. So you want to think about how much time you have to teach the course. That can help you narrow it down. Another consideration to think about is is it a coding course or a non-coding course? Is this something that's supplementing another subject, or is it a specific computer science class? But even within that, you can think about, do you want the students to be block programming, or do you want them to be actually typing out the text? I think there's benefits to both of those, depending on the age of the students, as well as the skills and experience of them as well. So the nice thing is in almost all these courses, CodeHS gives you the option to introduce programming in both block and text-based programming. Again, difficulty level, right? That's going to have a big impact on which course. Also the standards, depending on which state you live in, or which course you're teaching, depending on the district needs, there can be lots of different requirements that you have to meet. And so the nice thing is that you can find one that meets all of the needs. We mention it later on, but these courses, CodeHS aligns them with the CSTA standards, and I believe is it the CSK12, the standards as well. And one of the options when you're looking at the course catalogs, you can select by state, and you can actually see if there's courses that are made for your specific state. So these ones here are aligning themselves to the state standards. So again, lots of different options for you to look at. Now, as far as recommendations or pathways to use, these courses are designed for 6 through 12 students, so middle and high school. And these are just potential options for you to use. But you can see, depending on which age group you teach, and I know from looking in the chat, we do have a variety of middle and high school and beyond teachers in here. You can see that you've got multiple options to fit any grade level that you're teaching within that range. You've got some of the starter courses, Intro to Programming with Carol or Python with Tracy. You've got web design, computing ideas. You can see when you get up into the high school level, you've got, not only do you have your AP classes, but you've got multiple options for the AP classes. I know CS Principles has, there's a JavaScript course, a Python course. I believe there's even a cybersecurity course now for CS Principles. So you've got lots and lots of different options. And you've got some of these links here will help you kind of look and see how these fit into to different pathways as far as which ones are suggested to take prior to other courses. I mentioned this earlier, so CodeHS aligns the courses to the CSTA K through 12 standards, as well as the K-12 CS. And if you need to see any of the standards mapping, we've got a link right here, which will take you and it'll show you exactly how each of the different courses aligns with each of these frameworks. So I started showing you the catalog a little bit already, but when like I said, I teach AP CS Principles and I use the Python course. So normally when I'm searching through this, I like to select Python, and this shows me all the different options that they have, and you can see even stuff like data science, introduction to AI, Python with Arduino. There's lots of different subjects to really fit any kind of need that you might have. So I think we've got, again, you can take some time to sort through this and to really kind of browse and find whichever course fits your needs. So once you select your course, CodeHS has just a ton of different tools and options, ways to customize your course. Really, almost anything you can think of that can kind of help customize it and make it work the way that works best for you in your classroom. So we're going to touch upon some of the ones that I find the most helpful and that I use the most. And I think these will be helpful for you as you select your course and get things ready for this next school year. So one thing that's obviously this is valuable in any subject, but I think for programming, this is invaluable, is the ability to provide quick and timely feedback to your students. When I teach CS Principles, a lot of my students are brand new to programming. They have no experience. This is their first time they're ever sitting down and writing a program, and they all, every student is going to run into challenges. They're going to have questions on problems. They may have a syntax error that they're getting stuck on. It's just part of programming. And CodeHS has some really nice tools that can help you give prompt feedback and have two-way conversations with the students. So one of those is it's actually called Conversations. So this is a way to provide quick feedback for your students with every single exercise. And I'll show you what that looks like in the actual CodeHS. I'm going to kind of be switching between the slides and CodeHS, the actual CodeHS account. So if you go into any of these, I'm just going to select, let me go into student mode. Sorry, I've got lots of different courses in here. Where is it? There we go. So if I'm just going to open up one of these accounts and go into an exercise here. So you can see here's an exercise. So this is what an exercise page would look like for a student. And you can imagine a student here working on their programming exercise. And if they have a question or if they get stuck on something, all they have to do is on this menu here over on the right, on the More menu, the first option that they can click is Conversation. And what this does, this pulls up, and actually you can see here, there's looks like some comments that were made. You can post messages here, you can respond, and it's just a full dialogue back and forth that you can have with the students. As a teacher, you get notified when you have messages waiting for you. And so it makes it really easy whenever I log into my teacher account, I can see the messages that are waiting for me right away. You can also access this right from your section overview. So this is what it looks like when you are looking at your main teacher page and you have a list of all of your students. You can actually see this little like the dialogue bubble. That icon will also start or continue the conversation with a student. So again, this is, I think feedback is really helpful because sometimes students get frustrated. They may have just a simple thing, missing a semicolon or an indentation error in Python, or something that it's minor, but it's causing their program not to run. And they could spend, 45 minutes, an hour trying to identify that. And it just, because they're new to it, they may not be able to see what's going on. So having this ability to give them quick feedback outside of the classroom, something that can help them almost immediately, can really help move them along and avoid some of that frustration that inevitably comes up with programming. You also, in addition to being able to interact and talk one-on-one with students, you can also send announcements to the entire section. So, for example, I'll use this like if I've got a homework assignment that I've given my students, and if I start to get a few questions about the same thing, then that tells me that maybe there's something that many of the students don't understand, or maybe something that I didn't explain well, or something that I left out. So this is a great way to send a kind of a blanket announcement to the class and just answer that question proactively to maybe help out students that encounter that haven't gotten to it yet. So you've got the option of individual conversations and group announcements that you can send out. So another great set of tools that you have within each course is being able to modify and customize the access controls to your course. So access controls cover anything from being able to access parts of the course. You can actually make available specific parts, or you can block off parts if you don't want students to be able to access them. You can assign due dates for different modules or exercises. You can tell them if something's assigned or not. You can decide you may want to leave out part of a course or leave out a module. So you can customize if it's actually assigned or not. And within the course, there's numerous quizzes for each course. And you've got options on customizing those, things like shuffling the questions or being able to reset them. So the access controls, all of these can be found. Let me go back to my main page. So all of the access controls can be found under the course settings right here. So if this is what your main page will look like when you have a section in a course. If you click on, or if you hover over course settings, you'll see you've got the access controls, due dates, grade settings, quiz settings. I'm just going to open up the access controls so you guys can see what it looks like. So here, these are the different modules or units that we have in our course. And what you can do is you can select if you want to have a module marked as available, that means that any student can access it at any time. If you have it locked, that means that nobody can access that. If you have it scheduled, then you can actually go through your course and preset start dates and end dates. And CodeHS, your course, will automatically open up each module when the start date and time comes, and it'll close it when the end date comes. So it's, you've really got a lot of options to customize this exactly how you want it. Now, this is something that I've kind of gone back and forth on. I sometimes, when I first started teaching, I only opened one section at a time because I didn't want students going ahead. It seemed like every year, there's always a few students in each class that they just run with it, and they go ahead and then they start finishing work ahead of time. At first that was something that I didn't like, so I would actually lock and restrict the access. But I've, over the years, I've kind of gone back and forth on that. Now I leave everything available, but I provide supplemental work for my students to use if they end up finishing things. But I think it is really important to kind of have everyone on the same page. It's if you have students that are all over the place, it can, you can be going over a section with your class and you've got a group of students that did that 2 weeks ago, so they may not be engaged or focused in class. So the nice thing is that however you want to set it up, you've got the ability to customize it any way you want. Now, as far as the quiz settings, so inside of each module in CodeHS, I'm just going to open up an old, here we go. Let me open up this course. So each unit in CodeHS is made up of lessons, and each lesson is made up of different activities. And each activity usually has a quiz, for example, right here, right? A short quiz that comes after each video. In addition, at the end of each unit, you've also got a quiz. This is a unit quiz that kind of goes over all of the content that was covered throughout the unit. And so under the quiz settings, you can really customize how you want these quizzes to be used. You can decide if you want to display the correct answer after the students attempt a question. You can decide to shuffle the questions if you want. You can shuffle them for all your sections. You can shuffle them for individual sections. So you've got different ways, depending on how you want to use these in your class. All of these settings allow you to really make it your own. Another resource that you have in here is the ability to monitor the progress of your students as well as view the gradebook. And so you've got, this is under, I'm going to go back again. Here I am right here. So when you're in your main teacher page right here, you've got another tab right on top called Progress. And you can see you've got the ability to view your progress by assignment, by lesson, module. You can view the quiz scores. You've got the ability to kind of get a quick snapshot of how all of your students are progressing throughout the course. This is what a progress snapshot would look like. You can see right here, it's got a color-coded key to show you how much of each activity each student has completed. You've got the ability to export these into spreadsheets or CSV files if you want. And again, you can view them by activity, lesson, module. You can modify this so it just shows the quiz scores that they achieved on each one. You can also look at things like attendance, right? And actually see which students were present on each day. This was especially helpful when we were doing remote learning. This really came in handy. And you can also see a history, which kind of shows you a kind of a minute-by-minute overview of the student's coding progress for each exercise. Another nice tool that we have in CodeHS is called the code review. And I wanted to actually show you this one. Again, I'll show you in our live section. The code review. So one of the challenges that I found when I first started teaching computer science was just the sheer volume of assignments I was trying to grade. It seemed like each class, the students had, multiple exercises that they were doing. I had 6 sections of 30 students. That's 180 students times, let's say 5 exercises per lesson or per homework. That's close to 1,000 exercises to try to grade. And just trying to grade all those, it can be just time consuming, sometimes not possible with that sheer volume. So one of the things I really liked about CodeHS that really drew me into it was their grading process that really helped streamline a lot of that. So when you click on review, so this allows you to see all of the exercises that have been submitted, as well as any help questions. So you can see Lori submitted a few here, so we could see as an example. So this is what it would look like if a student had a question or submitted a request for help. It would show up right here under review. And you can see any assignments that have been submitted go right to here. So it gives you a nice consolidated view of all of the assignments that you have waiting for you to grade. So rather than having to go through and click in each account and navigate to the lesson, you've got access to everything right from this single page. When you go, so you've got, once you're in the review page, you can actually, when you click on grade mode, that will take you into the actual assignments themselves. Let me go. So right here, for example, so you can click on grade mode, or the one that I like the best is the fast grade mode. And what this does is this will show you, you've got the student, excuse me, the student code that's been submitted, and it actually shows you the solution for that particular exercise. And so right from this screen, you can provide feedback if there's any feedback you want to give to the student. There's a shortcut to give full credit. You could give a 0. You could customize the number of points you're giving. If the student if there's something that's incomplete or there's something you want them to change, you could leave a comment for them and click needs work, and then they'll get that back, and it'll show up pink on their account, which tells them that there's something they need to go fix. Let's say I want to give full credit on this. Then we've got it now, and we can see that we submitted, right? I've now done 1 and I've got 6 remaining. Okay, same thing, I can go ahead and award full credit, and it automatically goes to the next one. And so you can see, again, from this one screen, you're able to access all of the code that's waiting to be submitted for you. So this is an awesome tool that really helped me save a lot of time when it came to grading all of my students' work. Right, yeah, here's the fast grade. Oh, another thing that's nice about fast grade is there's also keyboard shortcuts for each of these. For example, I forget, it's been a little while. I forget, there's a key that you can go through, and let me see. Oh yeah, you can see some of the keyboard shortcuts right here, which allow you to pull up different things. And once you get comfortable with this, you can really breeze through the fast grading really quickly. So it makes it really efficient, and it's a huge time saver. You've also, so in addition to being able to track the progress of the students, you can also get a snapshot of the gradebook overall. And this is something that you can customize. You can decide exactly which components are included in the gradebook. You can customize how many points each thing are worth, each different part is worth. You can customize how you want to display it. you can really go through and customize this to fit your exact needs. Like for example, something that I do is, I like here, included in the gradebook, I don't include the videos or the examples, right? Those are just things that the students watch or that they look through. It's obviously it's part of the assignment, but it's not something that I include as something that's graded. The things that I include for the grades are the quizzes, the exercises, any other challenges that I might give out. Sometimes there's free response questions. All of those, you can pick and choose what you want included in your gradebook or not included. And so you can see, again, you've got, your class list, and you can see a quick overview. And, if you've got like for me, I have to enter this into another system. It's really easy just to have this up, and I can just go down the line and translate these right over to my my LMS and get my grades entered really quickly. Like I was saying, you can select which modules or activities or lessons are included in the gradebook, but you can also select which ones you want to be auto-graded versus which one that you want to grade yourself. So, I don't go through and manually grade every single assignment that the students do. Again, with the number of sections and the number of students and the number of exercises in each activity, it's just not possible to fit that in. So, so the nice thing is CodeHS can auto grade any of the modules or activities that you want them to, or you can select them to be submitted and graded by you, the teacher, and then those are the ones that will show up in your review and available for your grading. So it makes it nice. It doesn't submit everything to your review. It only submits the one that you've selected in your, to be graded by the teacher. And you can see, again, let me go back to the section. You can access all of this just in the very top in that menu where the course settings. All of this right here is available in the grading settings. So all of these tools that we're going through can be accessed under the same menu, the course settings menu, from your main homepage.
Hey, Sean, before you go on to resources and lesson planning, we've had a few questions just about free versus pro. Can you speak a little bit to, because a lot of these tools, some of the tools are definitely for pro teachers, and I would say specifically things like progress monitoring or the access controls. Could you maybe speak to it a little bit about how a free teacher, the kinds of things a free teacher can do?
Absolutely. Yeah. So just to give you a little background, so I've used both the pro version and the free version. It basically always boils down to if I can find the money in my district to get the pro version. I absolutely love the pro version, and that's definitely my preference. But I also there's plenty of value in the free version that keeps me using it regardless of if my district will pay for it or not. So this last year, actually for the last 2 years, I've been using the free version because my district hasn't been able to come up with the money. Again, there's obviously features that I do miss, but I absolutely, if you're not able to get the pro version, I 100% still recommend sticking with the free version. I've looked at a lot of different curriculum providers, and this is by far, I think, my personal favorite one. But some of the features, so if you look back, things like the access controls, those are pro features. When you look at the grading, fast grade, that's a pro feature. The communication, that's free. The conversations back and forth, though you don't need the pro account to do those. Let's see. Gradebook. Yes, gradebook customization is a pro feature. You can see right here, the help mode, anything that says pro on it as we're going through, that indicates that it's a pro feature. So like when you're looking at the assignment review, having the students submit questions and being able to answer them, that's all free. The fast grade is a pro version. Let me see what else. Progress tracking. This is a pro version as well. The quiz settings, right? You can see a pro version. The access controls, so the ability to lock and unlock, that's a pro version as well. Was there anything that I missed? Was there any other features that I wasn't, or that you're wondering if it's free or a pro tool?
I think that was super helpful. And I do think that's the main difference, is the progress monitoring and access controls that are
right.
And gradebook, I should say too. Those are really the main differences there. And one thing sorry, Sean, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go for it.
So one thing I would mention is that sometimes there are a few things that free teachers can do to maybe help you out with like some of the access controls. I know one of the things that I always wished I could do when I was in the classroom was to restrict access to maybe a final test or something like that. When we get into customization, and almost all of the customization, there's a tiny little bit that's only available to pro, but there's actually a couple of strategies you could use to maybe take away those tests and then put them back later as a free teacher. So we could definitely speak to that. But no, I think that's the main difference for sure.
Absolutely. So the way I look at it is all of the content, the curriculum, the course, everything the students use, all of that is free. You've got with a free version, you've got everything you need to teach whatever class you select in the course catalog. They're all free. All of the students, the student accounts, being able to have the teacher account where you monitor everything. All of that is available in the free version. The pro version really gets into some of the tools like, again, grading, managing your sections. So I look at it as like the free version is everything you need to teach the course. The pro version are some of the nice tools, like the extra bonus stuff that makes life a little easier. And again, if I'm able to get the money for my district, I always go for the pro version. But if I can't, I go for the free. I've been doing free the last 2 years, and this next coming year, I'm going to be on the free version again. So it's, there's definitely ways to customize it and make it your own. Let me just go back to where we were.
And I'll mention too, Sean, I was also a free teacher the entire time I used it. I asked for pro every year and I never got it, but it still made more sense for me to teach my courses on CodeHS than to shift to anything else. So.
Yeah, nope, totally agreed. So this next section, so the curricular resources and lesson planning, all of this is stuff that's part of the free version as well. And this is available for every course that's in here. So when it comes to kind of getting ready for the upcoming year or the unit or however you're going to be using CodeHS, when you're going into a new course or a new unit that you've never done before, it can be a little it can be challenging to try to figure out the pacing or how long things are supposed to take. So then one thing that's really nice is that each course has a complete breakdown, a pacing guide, a syllabus, and they give you recommendations or suggestions for how long it takes to go through each. So for each course, you can see a course breakdown, and it goes through objectives. It's got example, it says what's part of the assignments or the labs. You've got a full lesson plan that's available for each lesson in here. So I'm going to go in here. Oops. Let me go into one of our courses and I'll show you the actual lesson plan itself.
Sorry about that, Sean.
No. So the way I access the lesson plans is up in the toolbox right here. This is a great link that's got tons of resources in here. You can see under the resources section, you've got lesson plans. And what this will do is it'll pull up for your course, it'll break down, right? We've got 3 units in this course, but you can click on, let's say in programming with Carol, I'm just going to select Super Carol, right? If you select this, it'll pull up the entire lesson plan right here, tells you all the standards that it's aligned to, teaching strategies. You've got links to all the different activities in here. So it's, especially as a new teacher going into this, the lesson plans can be extremely helpful to kind of give you kind of a guide to follow. What I found is as I continued using it over the years, I've become really comfortable with the units and the lessons, and I find that I use them less the more that I teach them. But when I was first starting out with CodeHS, these were extremely helpful, just to give me kind of a guide to know kind of how to structure my lesson and to kind of how to go through everything. You've got, like I said, for each part of the lesson plan, they've got suggested timeframes. Some of the lessons have online activities as well as offline activities. So each lesson plan, any offline activities that you're doing, if there's links or if there's documents needed, all of those will be linked inside of the lesson plan itself. You've got different, potentially handouts depending on, which lesson that you're doing. But what's nice is that by kind of having a combination of offline and online resources, it can, it gives students another way to engage with the material that you're going through. Sometimes it can be challenging for them if they're just sitting at the computer typing. By switching it up and having them do actual handwritten stuff, it kind of changes the way that they think, and it really kind of forces them to really understand the concepts of the materials. So I like how there's a kind of a combination of offline and online materials. And again, all of this stuff, all the materials, the lesson plans, the documents, the handouts, this is all included with the free plan. So you don't need Pro to access any of this stuff. So,
hey, Sean, before we do breakout rooms, we did have one other question in the question parking lot, and we were wondering if this is something we could toss out to you. We could always come back to it later if you like to. But somebody asked, do you ever get students who are above the level for the AP Principles course that you may find the coursework may not be challenging enough for him or her? What do you do? Or for any courses? I think that's a great question in terms of differentiating for our kids. So
that is a really good question. And yes, absolutely. For example, this year, I had a few students, I don't know how they did it because they took it out of order, but they took CSA first and then they took CS Principles. And so for those of you, if you're not familiar with those courses, they're designed for CS Principles to be first. That's an intro class. And then CSA is the more advanced class. And so I've had students that have taken CSA first. I've had students that have just come in with a lot of programming experience that were above the level that, that the intro class is at. So there's a couple different ways that I handle that. Number one is there's, again, with so many different courses or different options in the course catalog, sometimes I've just kind of opened up other courses for them and given them stuff to work on. sometimes it kind of goes on a case by case basis. Like, for example, I teach the CSP using Python, and I had a student come in that he was really good with Java, but he had never done Python. So I still wanted him to go through all of the exercises that we were doing in Python. And, naturally he did them pretty quickly. But once he did that, I had supplemental material that I was able to give him. Again, I've used other courses in CodeHS, like the Unity course. I let them use. I have some other websites, like Code Wars is a fun one that I've used that has coding challenges in there. But basically, just finding other ways to keep them kind of challenged. I don't want them to feel bored while they're in class, because that's a quick way for them to lose interest. So, either by adding other courses or other modules through CodeHS, or sometimes just giving them challenges or kind of harder challenges within the class. So, to get back to your question, it's kind of the way I handle it. It's kind of a case by case basis, but it's usually done with supplemental material or additional challenging work for the student to take on.
Sean, I might have missed it, and I apologize if I did. I was looking at another question. But did you mention Sandbox at all in that?
Oh, no, that's the Sandbox is another great way. We're actually going to use the Sandbox a little later today. But the Sandbox is a great way to it's kind of an open area where they can create their own programs. So you can give them challenging problems for them to complete in the Sandbox, or give them time to create their own projects inside the Sandbox. So thank you for reminding me. That's a great tool to use for challenging them as well.
It's one of my favorite things. So I thought, I wonder if he mentioned that. I'll throw it out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sean will definitely be talking about that later. So that's perfect.
Were there any other questions that have come up?
I think right now we're okay. Oh, we're good. Got a thumbs up. So we're good. So
okay.
I think we're ready for breakout rooms.
Yeah. So up until this point, Lori introduced us to, got the session started, and then it's just been me talking for the last 40 minutes or so. One thing that's really helped me when I started as a computer science teacher was networking and reaching out to other CS teachers. I was a math teacher, so when I switched over to CS, I was brand new. I wasn't a CS major in college or anything like that. So, I know exactly what it's like to be a new CS teacher or just getting started. And so, what's nice about these sessions is we've got, 30 other teachers that are here. And we wanted to give you guys a chance to get into some smaller groups and kind of share your experience with CodeHS, or just resources in general, with the others in your breakout room. So we're going to set up a few breakout rooms, and we want you to share with your group, have you used CodeHS in your classroom? If so, what ways? What courses or what class do you teach? Or what are some of the ways that you see yourself using some of these resources with your students? So, we encourage you to use this time to kind of introduce yourselves, network, and just share some information with each other.
And if you'd like to go ahead and grab that Padlet, if you want to share ideas or curate ideas on the Padlet, that would be great. Lindsay has tossed that into chat, so you can grab that link. And just as a side note, Amy mentioned in chat, I love the playlist and problem banks. Yeah, those are amazing. So this will be a great opportunity for you to chat with your groups. Thought I was going to have a dog bark. Sorry about that. And I'll go ahead and open up the rooms right now. So grab that link, and we'll give you several minutes to chat. So here we go. If you're not sure, you're not seeing the pop-up for the breakout rooms, you should be able to go to your Zoom controls and click on breakout rooms. It's like we're getting there. And if you need help with that, let me know. I think I should be able to move people around.
Does it look like, or it looks like there's still a few people?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes we're in, I know people are in spots where it might be tough to join a breakout room.
Of
So
course.
that's okay. But if you can, definitely jump out there. That would be awesome. Even just to listen. Lurk and listen, right? That's how we learn. There we go. Okay. I was watching one room, but I think we're good now.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and pause recording. "25 more seconds. We should have everybody back with us. I think we might have cut off a few conversations. All right, I think everybody's back, Sean.
We all
So
back?
whenever you want to take
Perfect.
it away.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was able to pop in a couple rooms and just talk a little individually. So thank you guys for taking the time to have some good conversations, and hopefully you're able to share some information with each other. So at this point, we are just going to take a quick break, give everyone a chance to stretch or refill their water or drinks or anything they need. So let's take 5 minutes, and then we'll pick right back up, and we've got some good stuff that we're going to continue on with.
Sounds good. So let's come back at 16 after the hour.
10, 16 after.
Perfect. See y'all shortly.
All right. Let's see. Is it everyone back? I think, yeah, 16. Okay. So we're going to continue on now. So hopefully everyone had a chance to take a quick break and stretch. So, I mentioned this, previously when the question was asked, what do I do for, maybe students that already come into class having more experience than what we're doing in the class, or they've already done it. So course customization can be a great resource for not only that, but just really for making the course your own. I teach APCS principles, and I teach it in Python, but I always, each year I add some additional modules from other Python courses, just to kind of fill in, or add some other material or concepts that I think are important for the students. So this is a great tool to have to really make the course your own and fit your own needs. And all of this, the course customization, is part of the free package too. You don't need the pro version to do any of this. So some of the things that you can do. So once you have your course selected, you can modify the order in which you go through the modules. If you've got a different kind of order that you want to do things, or just handle different topics in a different way than they're set up, you can go through and reorder things. So like, for example, right here. So if you go into assignments, what this will do is this will take you to kind of this is like your home base for customizing your course. So if you want to reorder any of the modules, you can just click edit, and then now you can just drag and drop and move around all of these different resources or modules. And again, this can be used if you want to, change the way that you go through things. Or, for example, if you add an additional module and you want to put it in a specific spot in your course, you can just click edit and reorder all of the modules. You can remove content. If you're doing a course, maybe you only have a limited time and you have to cut out some of the modules under that same page. You can go through. Let me go back to it right here. Without links in my way. You can go right here, right? And you can view all the lessons. Like, for example, if I wanted to remove this module, you can just click right here, or you could remove individual lessons. So you've got the ability to modify not just by module, but by actual individual lessons. You can add additional content as well. So lots of courses, again, each one's different, but many of the courses include supplemental materials. So this is like, for example, for CS principles, right? The College Board kind of defines what the standards are that have to be covered in the course, but there's supplemental material that you can add to choose to go through. So you can go through and select some of that supplemental material to use, or you can search for the content on your own and add it, or you can even take stuff from other courses and add it in to your class. So for example, if I go back here, let's say this is our course and we want to add something, right? We can select to add a module, an assignment. We can select something from the sandbox. We can get other CodeHS content from the bottom. We can search for content from different places. If you want, I know in the chat, someone mentioned the problem bank, that they love using stuff from the problem bank. You can select to add material from the problem bank into your course. You can go to other courses and move modules into your course from there. Again, when I teach CSP, I always go to this Intro to Computer Science and Python. This has some really great units in here. Like, for example, this one on strings and extending data structures. These are things that I think are really valuable to have in a Python course, but they're not in the CSP content. So the nice thing is, with all these different courses that you can choose from, you're not just limited to one course. You can really pick and choose and make your own course to fit exactly, whatever it is that you want to do or need to do in your course. And you can also create your own content. I mentioned the problem bank. So the problem bank is a community resource where teachers or people from CodeHS or teachers have created their own content or their own problems. And you can add your own modules too, not just your own problems from the problem bank. So you can go through and create, individual lessons, modules, activities, really any component that you want to add. You can go through and customize it to add on your own. Again, if you go back, right, when you select for more content or search for more content, you can see down here, this is where you can access all of the catalog, the handout, playlists, problem bank, playlist blank. So these are all available for you to add additional resources to your course.
So Sean, one of the questions that we often get is if I remove something. So if I remove, say, a final exam from my course, how do I put it back? What if I made a mistake?
So, right. Let's say we go ahead and remove. I'm just going to remove this just to show you what it looks like, right? So if we remove programming with Carol, right? I'm going to delete this module, right? And now it's no longer here. All you can just search programming with Carol, right? This will come up, or you can go back into, you can search for the content in the modules or in the course catalog. You can go back here. Now I'm wondering, this is where I would normally do it. Is there a different place that I would like, Lori, is there another place?
So there's actually a lot of approaches to this, and I like the ones that Sean has showed so far. So one of the ways I would do it is there's a couple things I would do. You could click on that add module in the top right corner and click CodeHS content. You could search for it from there. Or you could click on course settings. See that course settings button? Go ahead and click that for me, Sean. Now, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you've got a trash can. Go ahead and view the trash. Even easier yet, anything that you delete can be restored. Now, where Sean had deleted a module, it still might be easier to go back and just add the module in from the course, but you can go back in and restore all of these if you'd like. So
nice. See, I hadn't seen that in the trash before. So
I think the trash thing is a little bit newer because there's a lot of people who haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
So this
so you can.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say, so you've got multiple different ways that you can add stuff or restore it back into your course.
Let's walk through adding that back into the course from the add button. So now if we click on CodeHS content, since it's a whole module, this is a really easy way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you choose that Intro to Computer Science and JavaScript Golden, the very first one, and just choose the module.
It was this one, right?
Sign selected. Yep. Perfect. And now you could view these assignments in your course, and then it will open in that same window.
There we go. Now that unit is back there, and it was, if we wanted to reorder it, right? Because this was up at the top, I believe. You can just hit the edit button, move it back to the top, and now it's back to wherever you wanted it. Yeah, so it's nice. You can take out, if there's individual lessons or exercises, specific things you wanted to take out, you can take them out by module or by lesson itself. And knowing how to restore them is obviously a nice thing to have too. So Another resource that we're going to talk about is the sandbox. And I know Lori mentioned this earlier. We talked briefly about it as a tool for kind of additional work for students, right? Again, so if there's a student that may already have prior knowledge or experience or have done the content that you're already going through, the sandbox is a great tool to kind of give them additional kind of a free programming area to work on their own assignments or their own projects that they come up with, or that you may challenge them or assign them to do something. And one of the nice features, this is fairly new within, they didn't have it when I first started, but I think it's new within the last maybe year or two, the real-time collaboration. This is a great tool. You guys are actually going to get a chance to demo this, and this can be really helpful in the classroom, especially when you have multiple students that are working on the same project with each other. So first of all, just to show you where the sandbox is. So if I go back, right, when you're at your main CodeHS page, up on the top left, right by the CodeHS icon, you see a button that says sandbox. And if you click on that, that'll take you to your home sandbox. You can see I've got just a bunch of, obviously I've used this quite a bit. I'll use this for different purposes. Sometimes I'll use this when I'm demoing a program for the students, or if we're kind of writing one together, I'll pull up the sandbox. Sometimes I'll use it for assessments. I'll create like assessment problems that the students have to do, and I'll write the answers in the sandbox, and I'll show them it running without showing them the code so they can see what it looks like. But in the sandbox, you can create a new program. Let's just call it demo program, right? And if you hit create program, then this window is going to pop up, and you can see all the different languages that you can select. So students can write programs in any of these languages, JavaScript, and even within each language, there's multiple options. Like again, for Python, right? You've got your Python 3, your Turtle, your graphics, Carol, Super Carol. You can even data science. Lots of options within each language that you're looking to do. But let's say, for example, if I do a Python 3 program, right? Once I create that, now I'm in my own. This is now my new sandbox program, where it looks just like an exercise, except instead of instructions on what I'm supposed to do, it's my own free area to program my own project. Now, one of the nice features that's, like I mentioned, it's fairly new, is the ability to collaborate in real time within the sandbox. So you can have, it can be students and teachers working together. It could be multiple students working together on the same project. But you can see here, it's kind of a split screen showing two different students in the same program. And as one student, right, is typing in, it's appearing on the other. It's almost like a Google Doc, right? When you have a Google Doc that's shared that multiple people can collaborate on, this is kind of the equivalent of that, but for programming. So the way that you set this up, right? You go to your sandbox program, and I'm going to go back to my program that I have here, and you can see right at the top, right here. Here's the name of my program. Right next to it, there's two buttons. There's the save button, but then there's also this share. And when you decide to share, you can click on collaborate. And now this link right here, all you have to do is copy this link and you share it. And now my program is now open for collaboration, and anyone I share that link with can now collaborate within this program with me. Okay. So in a little bit after we go through this, we're going to have you create your own program and collaborate with each other. But we'll go through the steps again when we get to that point. Now, there are a couple key things to remember when you're collaborating. One thing is that you want to make sure you're saving your work, as you go along. And obviously, I showed the save button, right, is right here by the share. Now, once you collaborate, just like, again, just like on a Google Doc, you can see the icons of the people that are collaborating. So you can actually see how many people are accessing that document at a time. For me, right now, I just collaborated. I just opened this up for collaboration. So it's just me that shows up on it right now. But as other people join this, you would start seeing their icons show up right here next to your own.
Hey, Sean, if you want to toss that, if you have that open, if you want to toss a link in the chat, we could always click it for you.
Yeah, let me open that up. So try clicking on that link in the chat. There we go. I see we've got one other. Is it Amy or Ami? Dwayne, Nelson, right? And you can see, so now look, we've got 6 other people collaborating. And if you want to see what it looks like, try adding some code in here. If you want to try typing some, and you can see what it looks like when it shows up. Right.
I don't think I'll ever get tired of watching people do this. I think it's the coolest tool.
No, it's really cool, right? Oh, you can see right there. Nice. So this shows you, right? So this is exactly what the students would see as they're going through and working on this together. Now, one way that I found this really helpful. So if you teach computer science principles, there's at the end of the year or at some point throughout the year, there's a project that the students have to do as part of their AP test. It's called the Create task. And it's basically a kind of a big programming project that the students have to create on their own. It's their own new original program. But the College Board does give the option to collaborate. So you can have 2 students that decide to work together on their own program. Now they still have to write, each of them are responsible for their own individual parts. But, in the past, when I had students collaborate, it was kind of a challenge because they'd have their own separate sandbox programs. Then they'd have to email the code to each other and copy and paste it in there. And it added extra steps, which made it messy and inconvenient. And sometimes they didn't have the newest version or they didn't know where to put it. But now that they have this tool, this past year when we did the Create task, my students absolutely love this. It gave them, it was seamless for them to collaborate with each other. They didn't have to worry about, not having the right code on their screen. And it felt professional. It felt like they kind of got a feel of what what actual collaborative programming is like. Even for classes, if without the Create task, just having these kind of collaborative projects that the students can work on together can really help engage them in a way that's a lot different than just sitting down on their own, writing their own exercises. This one, they take more ownership over it. They're more engaged. They get to express their own creativity. So this is, in my opinion, a great tool to be able to use in any of your courses.
Hey, Sean, and I apologize again if I missed it. I keep answering questions somewhere else and then I don't catch everything. Steve there's a couple of questions in chat. And Steve asked, or he's mentioned he uses this for web design, which is an awesome way to use it. Love it for web design. So collaborators only have access when the original owner has the file open. Currently, there is not a setting, Steve, to change it so all collaborators can access it anytime. I don't know if that's something that is in the works. It might be something that our engineers are looking at because they're always adding to this, but currently there is not a way to make it available to all collaborators at any point. The collaborators do have the ability to fork the sandbox so they have their own copy, but that is not going to mesh up once that session is opened again. It would be their copy at that point, but there could be some potential workarounds there. I don't know if that's something you've ever run into, Sean, where you really wish they could keep, working on it after the fact, but.
No, so that was, and you can see that's one thing we're gonna get to right here is that there are some kind of guidelines that you have to make sure you're following when you're using the collaboration. And like Lori mentioned, one of those is that the owner of the program does have to have theirs open. You know, ways they can get around that. Like I mentioned before, if they could always have their own program where they worked on some of it and then just emailed that to the other person, or you can, when you go to share a program, like for example, let's make another one right here. When you go to share your program, it's, collaborating is just one of them. You can just share the code with other people. So in the past, before we had Collaborate, what students would do is they would work on their own individual parts, and then they would just share their code with their partner, and then they could just copy and paste it in there. I know it's not as nice as the collaboration. It adds that extra step, but it's still an easy way to get code back and forth between people that are working on something together. I know that there was another question about how can you tell who wrote what. On the create task, that's something that's important. They have to indicate who wrote which code, and I can see Lori typing stuff in here. So you can use comments. And so what I would normally have my students do is like add a comment above the code that they're about to write, right? So like, right, if I would make a function here, right, and then call it, add something else, right, and then I would do something like, Sean done or Sean finished, right, just to indicate what code that person wrote. So it's really, as they're writing, it doesn't, you can't just go back and click on a line and see who wrote it. But if you kind of prep the students and kind of tell them if it's important for them to keep track of who wrote what, you can always use comments to keep track of it.
Hey, Sean. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
somebody had a question.
I was just going to say, I do know that I can't speak to like specific features or timeline, but I do know that our engineering team is working on a ton of improvements to the code editor that they're going to have ready before back to school. Nice. And I'm pretty sure that collaboration is one of the things they're really trying to beef up. And a lot of these things that people are asking about asynchronous and then being able to track history are things that have been requested. So I can't say that those will definitely be implemented, but I do know that there's a ton of work being done, like right now, as we speak, typing a way to make CodeHS like super top notch for summer, for back to school. So keep an eye out for that in your email, keep an eye out in the IDE itself as the improvements come out. So just to throw that out there. And if you do have stuff that comes up that you really want to see, you can always write into support and we can pass that along to the team, and that'll let our team know, like, hey, in my classroom, this would be really useful. So just wanted to throw that out there for everyone.
Cool. Thanks, MR.
Yeah.
MR is our hero. Just a little shout out to MR. So
do what I can.
And I will just mention, from just as a teacher who has experience, like some, using support or submitting requests or questions, I can say that CodeHS really does look at those. The engineers, they look at those, they take into consideration. I mean, it's not something where you submit a request or, send a suggestion and then it just gets ignored. They really value that, and they are constantly updating and adding new features. So it's definitely worthwhile. If there's something that you see in there that you wish they had or that would be helpful, definitely submit it because it will get looked at. A couple other, when it comes to collaboration, a couple other reminders. So we said, the owner of the project has to have it open in order to be collaborating. Only the project owner can save changes. Okay, this is really important. Again, I would, whenever I use this with my students, I always go through all of this ahead of time with them, and I remind them as they're going through, because I have had students that a partner who wasn't the owner was adding stuff on there, and then the owner didn't save it and the partner closed it, thought it was saved. So they can run into stuff, but it's, just like with anything, it's important to just set those, everything has specific ways they run. You just have to go through those ahead of time with the students. Right here, if the program's closed by the owner, the link won't be active to collaborate. The owner will need to create a new link. So each time they collaborate, the owner has to get that link and share it with the other people. So I would, if you're using this in your class, you've got these slides. I would refer back to these and just kind of remind everyone before they use it. So what we want to do is we want to give you a chance to try some of this collaboration, and to give you a little more hands-on experience with CodeHS. We've got 4 different coding challenges that are set up, and we want you guys to be able to try these collaboratively. So there's 4 different challenges. So we're going to have 4 breakout rooms set up. And what you can do is pick which one of these challenges you want to work on collaboratively with other people. So the first one is a Carol exercise. So they're all Carol exercises. But on this one, you're going to be, you have Carol, and your goal is to write a program to have Carol make this K in tennis balls. The second challenge number 2, is called Christmas Carol. It's, again, Carol in a 10 by 10 world, and Carol's going to make this Christmas tree out of tennis balls and end up standing on the top. The challenge number 3 is a half pyramid. So you're going to write a program that fills half the canvas just like this with circles in a diagonal formation. And this one's actually not a Carol. This is Tracy the turtle. So this one's going to be using the Tracy the turtle graphics to create this half pyramid. And there's a couple suggestions in here if you're doing this one, using a radius value of 25 and making a variable that keeps track of how many circles should be in each row. And then challenge number 4 is also a Tracy. So we've got 2 Carol and 2 Tracy challenges. This one's going to be having Tracy the turtle draw a circle and cut it into 8 even pieces, just like a pizza. And then you can even, if you're able to get the pizza, you can get creative, add some color, make the crust, add some pepperoni. So you've got 4 different challenges. You've got K for Carol, Christmas Carol, half pyramid, and the pizza. Okay, so we're going to take about 10. I know it's 10:45, so we want to probably. Does 10 minutes still sound okay, Lori? Or
I think 10 minutes still sounds okay.
Okay.
There was a couple of things that we were going to do a quick demo of towards the end of the workshop, but I think what we can do with that, Sean, some of those things we talked about, is I can always toss out a video and put that directly in the course to help you out with that. So
sure.
Let's do 10 minutes for the breakout rooms.
So you've got this document right here that you can open. Now, so what we'll need is so when you go into your breakout rooms, we'll have to have one person be the owner. So you guys, just like a group of students that are working together, one person will have to decide who's going to be the owner of the document. So whoever is most comfortable creating a sandbox program, go ahead and create and share for collaboration your program, and then paste it in this doc here. So everyone has the collaborate link, right? If you're doing coding challenge 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then that way, everyone else who's working on this with you can access this together.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and open the rooms. And the way I've done it this time is I'll let you go ahead and choose which room you want to jump into. So you're going to see that they're actually named for each of the challenges. You can choose JavaScript or the Carol JavaScript, either of those 2, or the Python Turtle program. So go ahead and choose a room. If you're feeling like you might be a little nervous, It's totally okay. Remember, we're all in the same boat, and it's a learning experience for all of us. So I've collaborated with engineers, and I know not anything near what they know. So it's totally good. Go, love it.
Yeah, and we can even hop in some of the rooms and help help get things set up if there's any questions.
Have fun with it. And if it turns out that what you made doesn't look like the thing it's supposed to, that's okay. Maybe you're going to make something even better. If you've got a better idea, you go for it. There we go. Getting some Python love now. Love it.
Right. So yeah. So again, so what we're doing is you've got 4 breakout rooms that you can choose from. So I see we've got a few people that have gone in. Go ahead and select one of the 4 rooms to go into. And again, remember, you're looking at, right, it's the coding challenges. K is for Carol. You're trying to make the K. Christmas Carol is the Christmas tree. The half pyramid is Tracy the turtle. You're creating a half pyramid of circles. And then coding challenge 4 is the pizza. So I see we've got K for Carol's got some good amount of people.
People are getting excited about Python now. I'm happy to see that. I'm not surprised about the pizza one. People keep telling me that I've made that a little bit too hard and grabbed a tough exercise.
Yeah, that one's more of that one's definitely a little more advanced, but it's doable.
Oh yeah.
If you're having any trouble joining the rooms, feel free to put in chat or let us know which one you'd like to join, and we, our team can move you as well.
So you'll be creating the link once somebody from your team will create the link for the collaborate session once you go to that room and you decide who's going to own it. And you can always keep an eye on that too. And we can, you can always, if you don't feel like going into the session, maybe you're feeling a little bit shy, you can always click on the link from outside the session too. So really make them wonder who's joining your room. Let's see. MR, did you happen to see Susanna's? Okay.
Yeah, cool. she should be where she's looking to go.
Good.
I'm gonna pop in one of the rooms.
Okay.
Just see how they're doing.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, Vanessa, we'll get you moved over to challenge 4. Steve, get you moved into K is for Carol. Excellent. I always like doing these challenges. Good fun. Even for as nervous as I get, they're still fun. Let's help keep me on track, and we'll pull everybody back with about 4 or 5 minutes left at the end. And then for the one that we were going to do the demo of course and section, I think I'll go ahead and just add a video into the course, and then we can add the knowledge base article there as well. So that way we give them a little help with that.
I'm going to pop in
Okay.
one of these, see how they're doing.
Cool. Hey, everybody. Everybody's coming back in.
Yep, there we go.
And I think we've got everybody, Sean. So whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Well, guys, welcome back. So thank you for giving that a shot. We do apologize. I know that we figured out that the link was the preview that was showing up and not the editable link. So we do apologize that for the Google Doc. I know
that was totally my fault, so I do apologize.
No worries. I know, but see, that's things come up like that with students, right? And I know the room that I was in, everyone improvised, and you guys shared the link in the chat, and so that's right. Something comes up, you work around it and get it working. So I know that was kind of a shorter time, and you know, most likely you may not have finished the challenge, but we just wanted to give you a quick taste of what it was like to set up your own sandbox program, to share the link collaboratively, and to have a group of people working together. Again, this is a great tool, and the pair programming and collaborative programming it's been proven to be a very successful way to teach programming. And so, this can be something that you incorporate however you want into your course. So at this point, I know we're just about out of time. I wanted to, before I turn it back over to Lori, I know we've already answered some questions that have come up in the chat, but are there any questions that have come up? Any questions that anyone has for me, or about anything we've done, about CodeHS in general, or this is the time if you've got any questions to either let me know or I just saw Steve in the chat asked about the history option in the sandbox. That's definitely a great tool to use, not just in the sandbox, but in any program, any exercise or any program that you do. And this is with the free version. You can go and you can look into the student's history, right? So this is that first demo program that I shared, and you can go back through and you can look. And you can actually scroll through, right? Every minute or two, CodeHS auto saves a version of this, and you can see the development process of the program. This is really great for students. So as a teacher, it shows me a few things. I can go back through and I can see the kind of the iterative and incremental coding process the students are going through. I can go back if they're getting something wrong. I can find where they went wrong. It kind of gives me an insight into their thought process. It can also be a great tool if you're trying to confirm that the students actually wrote the programs themselves. If you go back and you look and there's just one single entry in here and the entire solutions just appears, that's obviously been copy and pasted. So it can be a great way to view the history, but also to confirm that students are doing it. Also for the students, if they accidentally delete something, or if they modify their code and they've changed things and it doesn't work, they can always go back at any point in the history and they can restore from that snapshot. So I always tell students, you never lose your code. Even if you accidentally delete it, run it, you can always go back in the history and find it. Thanks for mentioning that. What else? Are there any other questions that you guys have? I see a question about the pro version. MR mentioned that. I'm going to defer that to the specialists at CodeHS.
And MR dropped a link into chat about the form you can use if you would like to find out more info about the pro version. It's something that we would need somebody from our team to take a look at your circumstances and go from there. So.
Sorry. Are there any other questions that you guys have before we wrap up?
And if you do have other questions when you leave this workshop and you think, oh, I should have asked this, don't hesitate to reach out to support. They are super fast. You can also reach out to any of us on the team as well. I'll be sending you a follow-up, so you have my email address too. But don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to help, and we want to make sure that you are ready and able to use CodeHS for your school year. So we do have a couple of more links for you. We've got a ton of different things to show you here. And one of the things that I don't have on this slide, Lindsay actually just tossed into chat. And we do have a CodeHS community Slack channel. And we want to invite all of you to join the community Slack channel. This is a place where we can, definitely just connect with all of you personally. And you can all stay connected with each other. So maybe you started a conversation, made some new contacts. That Slack channel is going to be a great way to stay connected with everybody. So we definitely suggest go ahead and click that link in chat. I'm also going to include that link in the follow-up email. So if you're not in a place where it's going to be easy to get back to that or easy to click on that right now and join Slack, maybe you need a Slack account, I'll send that out later. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that. We'll make sure that we can send that link out to you. That was a fast last minute addition that I made. So we can definitely send that out and you'll all have access to that. So you can join it after the fact. Yeah, we need a Discord server.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Okay, I've been doing this for 5 years, and somebody I used to teach with, who's a physics teacher now, has changed districts, and they're talking to him about computer science. And when I found out about this series of lessons, I sent that to him, and I haven't heard because it's the middle of the summer, and who knows if he's even reading email. Is it okay with you if I send him the slides and the video when you finally send out the video? Because if he does go to this, I told him CodeHS is wonderful, and when I saw this, I sent him a note and saying you better take at least one.
Cool. Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you so much for the CodeHS love. We appreciate that. By all means, share away, share with anybody who you feel might benefit from this, and redirect them to also keep watching for more workshops. We run workshops all summer, all year long. I know, Sean, we've got you on board for another workshop this summer. I can guarantee I'm going to pester you for more workshops this year too. But we do workshops all the time. And so we're here to help. So definitely, absolutely share away. It's perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you. Yeah, so if you want to see that whole list of upcoming workshops, Lindsay just tossed that into chat, codehs.com/freepd. You definitely want to check that out. Sign up for any and all workshops. There's no limit. So even if you can't attend, we'll send you the follow-up. So no worries. Tomorrow we have Teaching APCSA. That one's going to be led by Joe Thompson, another teacher trainer. And on Thursday, we have Teaching Intro to Python for experienced CS teachers. Now, don't let that mislead you. And I wish I would have made that name something different. Even if you're not an experienced CS teacher, I think you could still benefit from that workshop. It's going to be led by teacher trainer Kent Pendleton, and he's going to show you a very different look at teaching Python. He does some amazing custom projects. So I definitely recommend that you check out Kent's workshop on Thursday. And I think we have one more link. Next slide, maybe.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Oh, no problem. I didn't even say it. So I was just expecting Sean to read my mind. So if you could take a moment to fill out our survey, that would be awesome. CodeHS.com/workshop survey. Let us know how we did and let us know what else you'd like to see. We want to know what's going to be the most helpful for us to bring to teachers. So definitely share that with us. And we absolutely take a look at your feedback and we go from there. So, and let's head to that next slide. And thank you. So for me, I want to thank a couple of people. I want to thank, first of all, Sean. Thank you for doing this. This was so awesome. Really enjoyed participating in your workshop today. This was perfect. Exactly what we were looking for, what people are needing. So this was awesome. Thank you. And thank you for being an amazing teacher, Sean. Thank you to the CodeHS team who's been on this call and answering questions on the back end too, and keeping up with chat and throwing those links in. Thank you all so much. And thank you to all of you, all of our teachers, because you are the reason we do this. And we would not be here if it wasn't for you. So we appreciate you taking the time out of your day, out of your summer, to spend some time with us. Thank you. And we are hoping that we see you again very soon, hopefully tomorrow, at the next CodeHS workshop. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for attending. I really appreciate it. I just want to echo what Lori said. Thank you all.